very careful when we talk about communication in marriages, because to be different from communication in the workplace, because the workplace communication is straightforward. Do this, you are the boss, I ask you to do this, you have to do it, either you like it or not. But in the home, in the marriage, communication is different, because when you're communicating with somebody, especially your wife, your husband, your spouse, either way, want feedback. The workplace one, you need a feedback, but the feedback is straight jacket. Either you do it well or you don't do it well. But in any marriage, communication is, I want a feedback from you. I want a response from you. So if the response is not forthcoming or is negatively presented, then there will be problem in the communication. So I want us to fix that. So every healthy marriage requires the ability of the couple to successfully communicate with each other. So if that is not there, then we'll have problems with communication. So sometimes 60% to 90% of all communication consists of body language. You can look at somebody, communicate, especially when we're talking to our children. Children are misbehaving, you want to talk to them. You don't want everybody to see you as a bad woman, or you don't want everybody to see you as a disciplinarian outside. You can just look at your child like that. And a child that is used to that type of communication knows what you're talking about. Same thing with your spouse. So you are together in the home, you should know the body language, what your husband or your wife is trying to express or is trying to translate to you for you to, take action. Looking, body language is very important. The way you speak, maybe you shout, speak gently, or even the voice sometimes when you talk. Like, I'll give an example. Your husband or your spouse wants to try to relate something to you, and there's a friction in the home, maybe between the two of you have not settled it, and the husband just comes in and says, my wife, please, can I have this? Have it. Have it means a lot. Oh, it's different from, okay, okay, my dear, I'll get it for you. Oh, hold on for me, give me like 2 minutes or 3 minutes to get it. Or saying, have it. Body language is there, and the gesticulation is there, and the expression is also there. So we have to be very careful in that area. So God is the originator of communication, and that is seen in Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, when God said, let there be light, and there was light. There was communication there. God spoke the word, and there was a feedback. And also in the Garden of Eden, God was communicating with Adam and Eve. We saw that. And when the communication broke down, we saw what happened. So we have to be very careful in that wise, the way we communicate with each other. So this can only be achieved through tolerance. For every Christian home to achieve successful communication in the home, you need to do the following. Number 1, know your family intimately. Everyone in the home is unique, special, and different from one another. Every spouse, therefore, needs to study his or her spouse in order to know what excites the person. Peter says in 1 Peter 3:7, husbands, in the same way, be considerate as you live with your wives, and treat them with respect as the weaker partner, and as heirs with you of the gracious gift of life. So nothing will hinder your prayers. So you have to be very patient with your spouse. Yes, a very good example is this. You know your husband or you know your wife very well. And immediately your husband or your spouse comes home, you know what you expect from him or her. And you know the feedback that your husband is expecting from you. For example, if your husband is coming home angry, or you are coming home angry, you have to be very careful. You will see it even in the demeanor of your husband. If my husband is happy when he's coming home, I see it. The way he greets me is different. The way he greets me, he can even touch, maybe slap me on my butt or somewhere and say, office lenini. Abishe patient obey millions. There's a difference. But when a man is angry or when the wife is angry and that happens, Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ má fọwọ́ kàn mí jàre. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Why do you want to transfer aggression to me? So that's what we're trying to say. You want to study the mood. When my husband is hungry, when he comes home, I know. And I know that kí lẹ fẹ́ jẹ is the next thing. And if I don't ask him on time, he'll say, ṣé kò sóúnjẹ nínú ilé yìí ni? So you know that in that instance, you need to buckle up and do something about it. So you want to study emotions, you want to study your body language, and you want to study what happens generally. So recognize and accept gender difference. 10 minutes to go. Recognize and accept gender differences. They said the woman is the weaker sex. The husband needs to help. We women, we are very emotional. When anything happens, I cry a lot. It's these days that I've been telling God, wipe away my tears. Not tears of anger. Sometimes when I'm angry and when we are arguing, my husband can just be, kí ló ń pa ẹlẹ́kún sìn? Ṣé bá jíjọ ń sọ̀rọ̀ ni? Kí ló tó dẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ dáadáa? Èwo làbúrò máa sunkún? Bí mo ṣe feel nìyẹn, bí mo ṣe lè express ara mi nìyẹn. So that's part of communication. And once my husband sees that, say, okay, listen, má sunkún mọ́, má bínú. Tó bá tẹ̀ jẹ́ pé èmi ni mo jẹ̀bi, even if I'm the one at fault, the woman at fault, my husband will say, okay, you know what? Take it easy. Let's talk about this thing and let's get it over with. So that's part of communication as well. Always speak wholesome words. Shouldn't be, talking negatively. Always speak wholesome words to each other. Take time to listen to your spouse. When there is an argument, you want to talk things over. And listen attentively to what your spouse or children are saying. Be sure of what you have heard. If possible, repeat what you said in order to get the message right. Sometimes when my husband says, that's how you did yesterday. Why are you referring to something that I did yesterday and you're saying that's how you... That information, that communication, there will be a communication gap. Even arguments will start. Why are you referring to something that I've done before? The Bible says all things have passed away. Why are you referring to this thing now? I don't like it. Then that will take care of itself. Listen attentively. Don't jump into conclusions. Don't say, But before the man finishes talking, or before the woman finishes talking, I know that's where you are driving your point to. And that man or that woman might not be driving the point to that area that you're driving into, because we have a mindset that, okay, I'm ready for you. So we have to be very careful about that. So we have to listen attentively to each other. And then focus on positive side of your spouse. Don't think of he is always doing this. Do not refer to bad actions of the past. And listen to the Holy Spirit sometimes when you want to understand each other. Like one thing I have cultivated an habit now. My husband, when he's angry with me or when he's talking, and I feel like, okay, then I just prayed one day. I said, Holy Spirit, just give me the grace to keep quiet. So one day he was just talking and I did this. He said, walk on him, Timbaniki face, ole dija, but Emma worry, I'm good. And that has really helped me. Sit down, look, for sometimes you don't want to do it in a negative way. You want to do it to have a beautiful feedback. So most of the time now, when my husband is angry and he's saying something, especially when they upset him in the hospital, and I put my mouth and he say, "Show mo pa medicine," or just keep quiet like that, and that peace will reign. So that's part of communication as well. Then ways to communicate in Christian homes: you have to be truthful, you have to be temperate, you have to be tolerant, and you have to trust each other. Believe what he has said and take his